So after years of thinking about it, sketching ideas, and telling myself, I'll do it someday, I finally took the leap and made my most ambitious VFX video yet, Donkey Kong in real life. And this is a behind-the-scenes look on how we brought one of the most iconic arcade games to life, through a mix of animation, green screens, and a lot of overnight rendering. The project was based off the original Donkey Kong arcade game, the one where you control Mario, or Jumpman at the time, as he tries to save his girlfriend Pauline from a runaway ape, Donkey Kong. I've always thought the game structure would translate well into 3D. It's been recreated several times in films, in games, but I wanted to take a different angle with it, bringing it into our CK Productions logic world, where we turn retro game nonsense into, well, modern day cinematic nonsense. And it was a great excuse for me to try out the new 3D tools and techniques I've learned over the years. Since this project was entirely green screen, I had two choices: either source background elements or create everything from scratch in 3D. I chose the latter so I could create a very specific look for the tone I was going for. To build the environment, I used Kitbash 3D. Not sponsored, just a fan. But I am available. I've had my eye on their New York and construction kits for a while, and they turned out to be a perfect fit. They provided everything I needed: skyscrapers, scaffolding, girders, cranes, all the elements that helped bring the world of Donkey Kong to life in a modern city setting. With those assets, I designed a stylized cityscape that would serve as the game's level. Once that was built, I used the 3D camera system to plan out all of my shots, framing angles, testing lighting setups, and even blocking out scenes before we began filming. This pre-visualization helped speed up production and made everything more cohesive. This was also the first CK Production shoots where I got to use my new lighting setup. Matching the practical lighting on set with the background lighting in the 3D scenes, using things like subtle blue and orange rim lights, really helped the final shots feel more integrated. Some of the shots didn't actually feature the real Joe, but rather a 3D scanned model of him. I used an app called In3D, which creates a basic, usable digital double. It's not perfect, it's kind of like Joe's Uncanny Valley stunt double, but from a distance and with the right lighting and motion blur, it worked well for what I needed. I paired that with Mixamo, Adobe's motion capture library, which let me apply running, jumping, and climbing animations to Joe's digital model. Without tools like this, it would have added weeks or months to the timeline of this video. Being able to automate key movements helped me stay focused on composition and timing. Now, one of the most exciting parts of this project were building the full CG shots. With a completely virtual environment, I had total control over the camera movement and angles, something that's harder to achieve on a physical set. I was able to add sweeping shots, wide views, and even close-up action moments that mirrored the game while feeling cinematic. For the live action elements, we wanted to push the realism a little bit further. In past videos, we had actors run in place on the green screen, then animated them afterwards. This time we used a small treadmill so Joe could run naturally while we filmed him. Then using chroma keying and rotoscope, I layered that footage into the 3D environment and synchronized it with background animation. The result was much smoother and much more convincing integration of CG and live footage. Editing was all about quick pacing, keeping scenes moving quickly so everything felt dynamic. I used fast cuts and intentional digital camera movements to make sure no single shot lingered on screen long enough for your brain to say, hey, wait a minute. Now, the real villain of this project was not Mario, not DK, it was render times. Despite working on an M3 Pro chip, some shots took 20 to 70 hours to render, and it added up fast. To manage this, I optimized each scene by removing non-visible models and materials, but I still had to let this thing render overnight for many nights. Eventually, I started rendering some scenes in HD instead of 4K just to survive. And honestly, this saved time without a noticeable drop in quality. You honestly can't really pick out the HD shots in the edit without me pointing out which ones they are. In the end, this project taught me a lot about workflow efficiency, lighting consistency, and the value of pre-production planning, especially when you're juggling animation, VFX, and real-life footage. While I probably won't take on another project of this size anytime soon, I'm really proud of how this turned out, and I'm even more excited to keep exploring 3D and VFX in future videos, maybe on a slightly smaller scale next time. With all these amazing tools out there right now, Mixamo, Kitbash, In3D, it's wild how accessible 3D content creation is becoming for indie creators. You don't need a whole studio anymore. Just some time, some coffee, and maybe a treadmill. Funny enough, I actually don't drink coffee, but it probably helps a lot if you do. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel, and if you haven't seen Donkey Kong in real life yet, check it out on CK Productions channel. It's a result of months of planning, editing, experimenting, and many nights of rendering. If you want more behind the scenes videos like this, or have questions about any techniques or tools I used, feel free to drop a comment down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos. See you next time.